Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's an entrepreneur, real estate and e commerce investor, aerospace engineer, business coach consultant, and speaker. No other than Mr. Taylor Kenda. Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Taylor. Can you please introduce more about yourself?
Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate you having me on and this special occasion to be able to speak about an important topic. You know, in today's world, we're seeing an epidemic of people that are burnt out, tired, and running a cycle. And I seek to try to help various different individuals for them to grow themselves in their mind and with their finances and their investments. And I do that through real estate. Real estate is probably one of the most important vehicles that I've been able to use to create my wealth and to be able to grow exponentially and acquire various different things through that. So I'm Taylor Kenda. I here local in Dallas, and I'm an engineer, as you mentioned earlier. I'm also a real estate investor, business coach, and I help other entrepreneurs, other early investors get into the game of real estate and win big.
Win big indeed, Mr. Taylor Kenda. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And let's talk about inspiring, supporting, and encouraging others. What's the driving force behind your deep commitment, inspiring and encouraging others? Was there a pivotal moment or experience that ignited this passion?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's been a lot of things that's inspired me throughout my entrepreneurship journey. Here's the thing I would say: for someone to be able to see how valuable you are, you have to display yourself and create a personal branding around yourself. And the personal branding that you portray and you give, it automatically gives you the leverage over anyone that is not using their potential. So, in regards to encouraging others, I think it's probably one of the most important things for ourselves, each one of us, to learn how to give value to others. Because this world is all about giving value. What can you give in exchange for what you want? Right? And that thing that you give may not just be financially, it may not just be money, but how can you support? What can you add to the world? What legacy can you leave here on earth? Right? That's what we're all here about.
Yes, indeed. And how do you personally define inspiring someone versus supporting or encouraging them? Are these distinct actions for you?
Yeah. Inspiring and encouraging are, they go hand in hand, but supporting is taking someone's hand and walking with them through the ups and downs and various different things. I'll give you an example. Recently, in one of the real estate deals that we were looking to close here in Dallas, we're looking at a $3.1 million asset, right? And I was working with a few business partners of mine. We got to a point where a week before we closed, the lender calls us and tells us we can't close on this deal. We can't help you guys. Imagine 1 week before you close, you have to come up with $2.6 million to close the deal, right? And the fact that myself being an early entrepreneur and working with experienced, seasoned entrepreneurs, I had to leverage their experience, right? And their support came in the perfect moment. And this is why I always say it's important to have a good circle of people around you. The people that you have around you define who you are. And thank God I had the right people, the right team. And because we had the right structure in place, we were able to close on time. So, and that's thanks to the support of my mentors, of the people that I was working with, the business partners, and so on. So, support is very, 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 very important.
Beautifully articulated, Mr. Taylor. Very well said. What What's the most common misconception people have about what it truly takes to effectively inspire or support another person?
The biggest misconception is not being able to read the other person's mind and reading or seeing, overseeing what they want. Especially I see this a lot in financial deals, in e-commerce, in real estate. Generally speaking, someone would come to me with an idea, right? And they have already gone through various different steps and talked to many people about this idea. But the fact that they spoke to the wrong person, it 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 destroyed their any kind of courage that they could have had. They destroyed any kind of hope that they had in themselves to be able to be successful. So once again, if you, I always say this to a lot of the the mentees that I have. If your dream is big for you and you share it to someone who has a small dream or who sees that dream is small, then you're gonna eventually go down with that person. So if you have to be very careful who you share your dreams and your aspirations and your goals with. You share your dream and your goal with the wrong person, that person is gonna bring you down. So if you share it with the right person, that dream is gonna multiply and it's gonna become a reality that you can't even fathom. So share the right information with the right people and create a circle of influence in which you influence them correctly and you add value to their lives and they add value in return. You don't want to be in a circle where people are draining your energy. They're draining your time. They're draining your finances, right? And that's all part of encouragement. Encouragement is in with through ideas, through creativity, through all sorts of different collaborations. So the best thing you can do for yourself in 2025, creating a personal brand that gives others a unique perspective, a unique sneak peek into your life, and at the same time, you add them value.
Yes, add value to your brand, people. For sure, it will be successful. Can you share a story about a time when you desperately needed encouragement or support?
Certainly, certainly. I have a lot of examples in which I can pull from. The most unique that I can think of as of right now, Daniel, it's very hard as an entrepreneur to have a goal and you don't see the finish line. Or even if you're an investor, you're a creative person, like myself as an engineer, you have ideas that flow through you all the time, right? You have ideas that are coming, God is inspiring you, and various different things are happening throughout the day. But if you don't have the right support, if you don't have the right encouragement, and you don't have the right sustainment, then you're going to understand that going through that process to try to achieve the goal is going to be extremely hard, right? Recently, uh, I would say recently, but it was about 2 months ago. Right, I was working in my business, and I was working on the wholesaling part of the real estate, so I can create more deals and run more, generate more cash flow. I was on the phone with various different sellers and buyers. They they were giving me a terrible time and trying to close a deal. Sellers can be like that at times. They want to sell their house, but they don't want to sell their house at a rate where it will make sense for the buyer and various different things like that. So I came to a conclusion where if I want to close this deal, this particular seller, has to give in and buy in to the belief of them already acquiring the asset, right? The fact that we were not understanding each other, it caused a huge disagreement, and it created a headache for me and my business, and it drained me down. So I wasn't able to accomplish and finishing that task and closing that deal. So I was down for a week or two. But then I got on the phone with one of my investors that does a whole bunch of deals on a monthly basis. That encouragement alone, just after one conversation, changed my perspective. Right? When, once you get in communication and in contact with an individual that's doing more than you, and you aspire up to them, it changes your perspective significantly. That's why I always like. I'm going to go back to what I was saying earlier. The people around you make a huge difference in who you become. So if you have the right people, you will accelerate. You have the wrong people, you would decelerate. Right? So I'm going to leave it there. But generally speaking, the people you have in your life will change you tremendously. Thank God I have the right people. And I always try to keep the right people around me in the circle so that I know that I'm pursuing the right things. And that's how it's turned out in my business. My business has significantly benefited because of the people that I hire, because of the people that I work with, and the people that I do business with.
Yes, thank God we have the right people around us. How do you practice self-inspiration and self-encouragement to sustain your own energy and avoid depletion while supporting others?
That's good. That's good. The Bible. I can't go anywhere else but the Bible. There's a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom that you can pull from the Bible itself, beginning from the book of Genesis all the way to the Revelation. And I'm not pushing others to become uh, a Christian. If you're not, God Himself can give you the revelation. But for me, the most important thing, the one thing that has given me the most inspiration, where I've pulled the most amount of motivation, inspiration, courage, strength when I'm down, is the Bible. And from cover to cover, every scripture that I've read, I've been able to pull and apply into my life in a significant way, right? And apart from just the Word of God, I would say having uh, a healthy lifestyle where you eat good, what you consume, and exercise regularly. That helps out significantly. I would encourage those that are out there. Take care of your health, and don't just think about what you eat and what you watch or what you do, but what you consume in your mind, in your ears. Those are gateways to your soul. Right? The eyes are the gateway to your soul. So if you open up your eyes to crazy things, guess what you're feeding your soul? If you open up your ears to crazy things, guess what you're feeding yourself? So mental health is just as important as your physical health and the rest of emotions and whatnot.
Indeed, a physical health, people. And Mr. Taylor, as an entrepreneur, real estate and e commerce investor, engineer, coach, and consultant, as well as speaker, what are your short term and long term goals?
Ooh, that's a good question. Long-term goal, I'd like to be in a position where I have at least, this is just a personal goal of mine, that now, I want to give this a few years, but I want to get to over 50 employees. 50 employees. I always say aim for the best, for the biggest. And I want to acquire over, I don't want to give it a specific number yet, but I think it's important for those that are out there and may encourage someone as well. It's always important to give yourself a big, big goal. The bigger your goal, the bigger your outcome. I want to easily and officially be able to run deals, run my business, and to the point so that I can get to 15, $20 million consistently on a yearly basis. That's one of the long term goals that I have. Short term, It's going to be more internal with the business. I'm looking to close a few deals, a few real estate assets that I'm looking to acquire with some business partners that span here in the U.S. and various different locations. Um, but those are short-term goals in which I'm trying to accomplish right now, and those goals will help me get to the long-term goal. And for those that are out there, if your mid to short-term goal, whatever you have in mind, whatever you're doing in your life, if your short-term goal does not support your long-term vision and your goal, then you got to rewrite your goal and you rewrite your vision because they have to correlate. They have to marry each other. All right.
Definitely. Good luck to your goals, Mr. Taylor, and looking forward for more and more
Thank you.
success.
I appreciate that.
And what is your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you, entrepreneur, coach, consultant, speaker, and many more?
Well, yeah, I appreciate that. In regards to advice, I would say there's a book that I read, As a Man Thinketh. As a Man Thinketh completely changed my mind, the way I solve things. For those that have not read it yet, it's about a gentleman that went through Nazi Germany, the Nazi camps, and he went through the difficulty of living through those camps. But despite that, he came out alive, and he came out and he was successful and helped him and achieved greater afterwards. And it's about going through the difficulty of life. All right. Life throws a lot at you. And the same book, another book, The Alchemist, also says the same thing. Life will throw a lot at you. How do you respond? How do you define the moment, the lowest moment of your life? How do you define that? And how do you define yourself? How do you pick yourself up? So, the advice that I can say, lean into the moment that you have right now. It may be difficult, it may be hard to overcome whatever you're going through. If it's your school, if it's your entrepreneurship journey, if it's your work, if it's your family, if it's your mental health, if it's sickness, whatever it is, life throws a lot at us. But how do you respond? That's one thing that I would tell you. If you respond correctly, then you're probably the 5% in the world that have that discipline, that drive, that ambition to keep going and to not stop. A lot of people don't have that. And it's a skill. It's a very important skill to have and acquire. And it helps a lot of people achieve success. So, despite the obstacles, despite what's going on in your life, despite the busyness, despite the headaches, keep pushing forward.
Indeed, keep pushing forward, people, and stop procrastinating. If you have the passion for something, please share to the world. And Mr. Taylor is, I think, disconnected. So while we are waiting for him, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, my other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in its fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101. Love Letters in its third season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in its fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Taylor, thank you for your advice. And can you please recommend a book that influenced your journey? Definitely. Atomic Habits by James Clear is highly recommended. People, please read it or listen to the audiobook itself. And Mr. Taylor, where have you found the most unexpected or powerful sources of inspiration yourself? Mr. Taylor, I think Mr. Taylor is disconnected again, so while we're waiting for him to answer my question, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my one of my audiobooks. People, one of my audiobooks. Life is too short. Let's give a sample. What is Life is Too Short all about? Life is too short. A journey of discovery, fulfillment, and joy by Daniel Legis. Narrated by the author. Prologue. We all know the old adage, life is short. Each phrase is spoken in passing, scribbled on inspirational posters, whispered in moments of reflection. Yet, how often do we truly ponder its profound meaning? Life is too short. A journey of discovery, fulfillment, and joy is not merely an exploration of the timeless truth. It's an invitation to live it. It's a call to awaken to the extraordinary gift of existence, to embrace our limited time. Okay, people, Mr. Taylor is come back, so please do listen to one of my audiobooks. Life is Too Short is one of my self-help books, and of course, my book 101 review, volume 3, suggestions, and my climate change book, Earth Fever, Unraveling Climate and Our Race to Restore Balance. And of course, my book 101 review, volume 2, selected, and book 101 review, volume 1, highly recommended. And of course, one of my self help books, Threads of Existence, Weaving the Tapestry of Life, and called Stand Tall, Stand Together, Breaking the Chains of Bullying. Please do listen to them because they are one of the best sellers on Audible. So, Mr. Taylor, uh, as my question goes this way, where have you found the most unexpected or powerful sources of inspiration yourself? Mr. Taylor, as we wrap up our discussion for today, if you could leave our audience with one essential practice or mindset shift to become more powerful sources of inspiration and support in their own circles, what would it be? Put God first, people, and you will be successful, Mr. Taylor Kenda. Thank you so much, or Kenda. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy or whatever projects that you're doing right now? You are most welcome, Mr. Taylor. Yes, people, let's support Mr. Taylor Kenda because if you support him, more and more and more empowering advocacy to come. So, Mr. Taylor, thank you so much for your time. More to come, people. See you soon.